E3 is a time for a ton of tentpole titles, and Nintendo definitely brought the top tier of the top tier. From Pokémon Sword and Shield, Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and many more, they had the entire bag of games ready to display. But Gabe, there's always some games that slip under the cracks, some games that don't get as much coverage as they deserve. And while everyone has heard about Impidimp and Luigi, it's time to put some shine on some games that are deserving but definitely fell under the radar at E3 2019.
It's impossible for every game at E3 to have the same shine as a Zelda or a Luigi's Mansion, a Pokemon game. Those are obviously just going to take people's attention and run with it. But Zach, the real mystery becomes, who put the bananas all over the floor for these games to be slipping? You said they slipped.
They did. They did slip. Was it Donkey Kong? Was it Banjo? Was it Duck Hunt Dog who's trying to cause all sorts of kerfuffle in that world? Either way, let us know in the comments down below if any of these games pique your interest or what title you think slipped under the radar at E3 for Switch. Obviously, they're all coming to Switch, and that's what makes this list really exciting. We're going to kick it off with what I feel is one of the most surprising games of the entire show. Something that, after the initial announcement, had low expectations, and people walked away from genuinely impressed, and for me, really excited. That's Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which at first blush seemed like just a compilation of all these old Lego titles, or maybe a version that included more characters or a few new puzzles. But instead, Gabe, it is a complete evolution of the entire Lego formula.
Yeah, for me, just, compiling every Lego Star Wars game and just selling that to you on one cartridge does nothing for me. Right. So I wouldn't have even given that any piece of my attention. But since it has changed into this Lego City Undercover-esque adventure with all of these changes in gameplay, that is exciting.
Yeah, Lego has done a really good job, and Traveler's Tales have done a great job of, over time, making notable improvements to their Lego formula. And this is probably the biggest yet, because they have taken Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga and made it very open world. You can travel from planet to planet. The size and scale of the environments is massive, and most importantly, the camera is now directly behind the character. It gives it a third-person character action feel, as opposed to that kind of locked three-quarters perspective that we've come to know, or that side perspective that we've come to know. Now you're able to move around quite freely with both sticks, and they've increased the combat options with combos. They've included a really nice increase or improvement to the art style, where it's merging like the bricks with the environment much more, and I love how that looked, especially in the Tatooine demo that we got to see. It's something that you kind of have to experience the gameplay to really come away understanding where they've taken this. But most importantly, at the end of the day, Gabe, it has Force dance. You can make anything dance at your free will.
You're making me dance now just by mentioning it. Look at that. No,
it's really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the changes in this. This has become, honestly, one of the most things I'm curious about next year. I'm not gonna say I'm uber excited. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in general, but I do enjoy Traveler's Tales and what they do there with the Lego game. So I want to see how they build on it, and it does seem like they've done some awesome stuff here. But with that, Zach, I feel like we could move on to the next game here, which, as soon as you told me where it was,
on you,
as soon as you told me where it was, it grabbed me. It did.
It force grabbed you.
Yeah. Darksiders Genesis. Everybody knows how much I love the Darksiders franchise. The War Master Edition is the best port on Switch. I take every opportunity to say that I possibly can. Go get that. But this changes things. Also, change. I guess it's a recurring theme right now.
It's coming. It's coming.
These go from what the Darksiders games are to a more Diablo-esque adventure without all the loot. It kind of maybe feels...
I likened it more to like Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris, Lara Croft and the Guardian Light, more like those downloadable, cooperative, puzzle-solvey, explorative type games.
Sure, but then what grabbed me about this was not so much loot, because I said no loot. It's more the exploration, the puzzle elements, and that they carried over so much of what I loved of the original, and they've made it into this new genre for them, at least, and it's fun. Self-co-op.
You're forgetting Strife is there.
Yeah,
that's the huge news. I think that kind of when we stumbled upon it, we were like, oh, here it is. No one's playing it. Let's check it out. And they have double horseman action.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Strife in other Darksiders game, but that's the first time he's playable, and I love his character. He kind of reminds me of the Mark Hamill character from the original Darksiders. He's just so kooky and zany, and he jokes around a lot. And War is this gruff. Everyone knows who War is. I want you to be the War to my Strife. just so you know.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to getting our hands on this one. Maybe we can do some actual co-op and not just self-co-op, because you can change characters at any given time. Again, the fact that they somehow got the traversal and puzzle elements from those games to somehow fit with this gameplay style was impressive for me.
Yeah, I think solo ops is the new it factor of games in 2019. We got Luigi doing some solo co-op. We've got Darksiders allowing for solo co-op. But it is nice that this is a $30 title. This is bringing you the Darksiders franchise at a medium price point, and probably rightfully so, but it's cool to know that something intriguing and exciting is coming that isn't full price.
Yeah, and I do want to say that, like, going into this, I had, like, zero expectations just because I'm like, but then I found out, hey, the price isn't all that high, and I think people and developers should be applauded for trying something new. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I had fun with it, and the boss fight I thought was actually just genuine fun. So I keep that in mind when I'm talking about these things. Hey, it's a lower price, it's a little bit more like mid-tier, and Darksiders is already kind of mid-tier, so this is like mid-tier. So that definitely goes into account for me. So that is one to be looking out for. But one more that you should look out for, Zach, that's coming this year, later this year, the fall, Dauntless. If you've never heard of it, I know you have, Zach. It's
free to play Monster Hunter.
Free to play Monster Hunter. That is how it gets described. I got to play that. That was really, really cool. I fought this giant like beast, and it had a ton of health, as it usually goes in these games.
Supposed to have, yeah.
yeah. But different abilities. You have different classes to get. So much Monster Hunter like action there. Have you played Dauntless at all, and do you have any experience with it?
I have zero experience with Dauntless. I've seen plenty of good things. Obviously, I love Monster Hunter World. We've been itching for a Switch exclusive Monster Hunter to be announced. Hasn't happened yet. This adds another notch in the incredible lineup of Switch free-to-play, which I don't think the onset of this generation we thought would happen for Nintendo. But they now have Warframe, and they've got Fortnite, and they've got Paladins, and now they're adding something very different with Dauntless. It's awesome that anyone can try it. I think bringing that on the go is going to enhance that game experience quite a bit, because as you said, it is Monster Hunter Lite. It's not going to give you the exact same feels, but being able to play that co-op or solo on the go at a Starbucks, at school, I think it's like, you can't go wrong with picking up a free game and giving it a shot.
Yeah, I don't know how they monetize, even in like the main game that's like out now on other platforms. I don't play Dauntless, but just seeing it and playing at E3 was really cool. It reminds me just visually of the other free-to-play games on there. Realm Royale is another good example of a free-to-play game that kind of like looks like this. Like, yeah, they're not going to look as good, but we expect that, and as long as the fun is there, and for this one, the fun was definitely there. It ran well. I didn't really see any performance issues, and if you have a group of friends, it's free to try. You'll at least have a few hours of fun together, right?
And if you want to have a few hours of fun this week, Crash Team Racing isn't getting any love because it's out so soon. You know, we talk about how Mario Maker 2, it's so weird to have a major Mario game that is, I mean, it had the tournament and it got a little bit, but it wasn't that, you know, there was no real presence there at the show floor. And Crash Team Racing, obviously not Mario Maker 2 caliber, but it is, again, a game that comes in with the fun under the normal MSRP, right? It's a $40 title, which is awesome. It looks good, and it is, to me, the next best option after Mario Kart. You know, we played Team Sonic Racing earlier this year. A pretty disappointing affair. Crash Team Racing, while not at the level of Mario Kart, is a lot closer, I think. I love the cast of characters. I think it's creative and fun. The courses are interesting. The weapons and items are much more digestible and understandable than what Sonic was trying to throw at you. The drift mechanic is interesting, requiring a decent amount of skill. The computer characters are tough. I think it's going to be a really good time, and I think it'll be similar to how Crash Insane Trilogy was kind of a sleeper on Switch, and actually is one of the best sellers on Switch for third party. This game coming out day and date is awesome, and let's walk it back a quick second. Lego Star Wars, in theory, will come out day and date as well. We're seeing more of that, and I love it.
Yeah, we know that there are a lot of fans of Crash that are looking forward to this game, but we just don't see it talked about a lot online. And, you know, at E3, there was very, very little fanfare for this, but it's so soon that it's kind of understandable. I know a lot of people are going to get their hands on it this week, and they're going to have some awesome fun. I hope to be one of those people, Zach. I didn't really like Crash Team Racing very much. It let me down. Like, the game's not terrible, but those power-ups are so boring and mundane, and you can't really tell the difference with some of them. And this one,
some of the orbs are a little lacking, but it's again, it's not Mario Kart. It's not the 9 that I dream of, but it's fun, and I think it is going to really give a jolt to the Switch's party multiplayer lineup that lately it's maybe not had. And obviously Mario Maker 2, once they add in the online play with your friends, will be an awesome example of that. But in the meantime, CTR is out in a couple days. It is $40, and I think it is, as long as that port turns out great on launch day and the online works, like, that is one that really should not be slept on.
Yeah, absolutely not. But speaking of sleeping on, Zachary, next year we get a much slept on little title called Sinking City, because it looks absolutely awesome. It's a Lovecraftian style story set in the 20s, and it reminds me so much of a Plague Tale. And I was talking just a little bit earlier about games that aren't quite like top tier, but they're still like awesome. And for me, that's kind of what this seems like. It's coming to every other platform, hopefully day and date. You know, a bunch of recurring themes here, and it looks so cool. It looks awesome, and the fact that it's coming to Switch, even with those very impressive visuals on other platforms, this is one I'm looking forward to. I hope it's early 2020 and not like super late in the year.
Yeah.
Because this one definitely has me interested.
It reminds me a lot of Vampire.
Yes.
That's what to me, the most synonymous experience would be, just in terms of it's kind of like a B-tier game. It's got an emphasis on story. There's some combat with monsters. There's a lot of detective work in the Sinking City, which is interesting. I love LA Noire, so if they can capture that in any capacity, plus, like, I hope we get to interview monsters. That sounds like a really jolly good time. And, you know, it's always a risk with these because they look great in trailers, but how do they play? How do they perform with a smaller developer, with a newer developer? That always comes into question. But, you know, they're putting forth great footage. The gameplay looks interesting and varied, so it could be one that definitely captures our hearts and gaming in general in 2020.
Yeah, it also has Beyond Two Souls vibes in certain parts of the trailer. I also get that there. But yeah, since Plague Tale was like so awesome, and that's one of my favorite games of the year, like so far. I got through that thing in just like a few days, and I just generally don't play games like that anymore. So if this can do something like that, and it's on every platform, including Switch, Plague Tale not on Switch, this is gonna be really cool. Dig in the atmosphere. Hopefully the story is really awesome as well. And who doesn't want to be a detective and have all these like insane water like physics come down on you? Some of it just looks bonkers.
Tentacle detectives are a job that all of us can only dream of having. That is our list of games that slipped under the radar, banana peel fell, but definitely deserve your attention, and hopefully will give us a lot of good fun on the Switch. And it's nice that all of them are third party. Bravo! Obviously, Nintendo stuff does get the tentpole treatment and does get
it's
majority.
Pretty hard to be under the radar with Nintendo, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess, but 5 interesting third-party options that are coming to the platform soon, and hopefully excite and entice all of you. Let us know which of these is your favorite in the comments down below, and if there's another game you saw at E3 or in any sort of parallel coverage that may have you really hyped. We'd love to hear about it. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and are pumped for some new sweet games coming to Switch the rest of this year and into 2020. Until that time, everybody, thanks so much for watching Fantastic Day. For myself and Gabe, SwitchForce